and welcome back to Youth in Politics. I'm Justin Schnedt, and again, I'm joined with Lynne Williams, who is a Maine Independent Green Party candidate. Let's talk about the economy. It is a major issue right now with everybody. I'm going to read a quote from your website. Lynne continues to fight against Plum Creek, TransCanada, First Wind, Nestle, and other corporate interlopers who seek to colonize Maine. And in a Bangor Daily News article, you say, quote, "I seek to create a new definition of growth and progress, where such terms are not defined by how many Walmarts are in a region, but rather how much people in that region support and patronize their own locally owned businesses." Are you against bringing businesses and jobs to the state when we have an 8% unemployment rate?
No, I'm not against bringing jobs and businesses at all. And there are a few elements to my answer here. Those corporations that I'm fighting against are, in my view, not bringing the type of development that we need and want in the rural areas of our state. Granted, we need jobs. Then we invite Nestle to come in and they do a water bottling plant, for example, in Kingfield. On the record, they are quoted numerous times as saying that will bring 200 jobs. We have 60, with no signs of more. Granted, 60 is better than 0, but the real job creating engine in the state are not multinational corporations. They're not, certainly not First Wind that put up Stetson Wind up in the Danforth area. It's now for sale. It's on the market for sale. These are companies who are coming in, particularly the industrial wind companies, and their plan is to make the money through the tax credits that they get from the feds. So this is not, they're not becoming part of our communities. They're here for the short term. They're here to create the project and then leave. The same with Plum Creek. The idea with Plum Creek, and I'm not saying there shouldn't be any development in Somerset and Piscataquis County. Certainly they need jobs desperately in those areas. But the idea behind Plum Creek was they would sell their timberland, which they purchased from International Paper for $200 an acre. They now pay $1 a year real estate taxes per acre because they're in tree growth. The idea would be that they get the rezoning and they sell these lots for around $300,000 an acre and they move on. They're not planning to build houses or even the resorts. What they're planning to do with the rezoning is sell off the land for a huge, I think, obscene profit. What creates jobs in the state are entrepreneurial businesses, small businesses. We ignore our small businesses. We provide them no support to grow, although there are limited pockets of things that interest me. For example, I read recently that Millinocket has a sort of town-run venture capital fund where they loan money to businesses in Millinocket and then it gets paid back at a low interest rate. Sort of a revolving mutual benefit society, which at the turn of the century was something that immigrants created in urban areas to help the Chinese, the Irish, the Italians. So I think we need to stop looking at TIFs, tax increment financing, which First Wind and all these other huge companies want. We need to stop looking at making the whole state a pine tree zone, and we need to look at ways that we can support the small businesses we already have and help them grow and create jobs, and also attract smaller businesses into the state.
How would you do that specifically? Would you use tax incentives to stimulate the growth in terms of small businesses? What would you do specifically as governor?
I think that there are, just the Millinocket example that I put out there, small businesses are often in need of capital. And I think that the availability of capital at 0 or low interest rate is frequently more important than certain tax breaks. I run a small business. I've previously owned a bookstore and I owned a medical and legal transcription firm. I know about taxes, but as a sole practitioner, all of the tax costs and benefits accrue to me as an individual on my income taxes. And most of our small businesses are not corporations. and they are sole proprietors or partnerships, and they pay the taxes as individuals. So I think there are probably some tax things we could look at, but in talking to people who are small business owners, capital is key to them.
With that, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back on Youth in Politics.